Hello, Internet! So, to try and ease my way back into the whole review thing, I've decided I really want to review something that you kind of can expect to be shitty. For a while now, I've had in my possession this DVD collection here. It's called Aliens vs. Humans, which is probably not a so subtle attempt to capitalize on the Aliens vs. Predator market, because, you know, for some reason that's a thing. It looks like from the cover that it's what you'd expect it to be, as some sort of trilogy of films, but in reality, it's just one of those packaged movies. You know, the ones they have a bunch of public domain or otherwise the rights to a lot of shitty movies that would never ever like sell on their own, but because together they're in one big collection, somehow they're hoping that you'll find some diamond in the rough. Look, I've got one here that's fucking 50 sci-fi classics, and I use the phrase so very loosely here. Might as well put the actual quotations right on the box. Classic. So what I'm about to review is one of the first movies included in the Aliens vs. Humans collection. And while it's not usually my shtick to review something that is pretty much what you'd expect to see on Mystery Science Theater 3000, I decided, hey, fuck it. YouTube's policy is changing on what we can and can't talk about anymore, so I might as well appease the internet overlords and do something harmless. So let's get this sucker in and start with the first movie in the collection, Seed People. Oh shit! Amblin Entertainment? I didn't know Steven Spielberg had anything to... Oh, you got me. Huh, based on an original idea, you say? I'm just gonna leave this up on the screen for a second. Just, you know. It's an original idea. For those not aware, Charles Band is the master of the direct-to-VHS horror movie. He's created countless horror and sci-fi features over the course of a 43-year-long career with his production company Full Moon Entertainment, most notoriously of which was the Puppet Master films. In fact, there's so much to talk about in terms of Charles Band that we'll have to save him for a later date. There is a literal plethora of entertainment he's made, and we're only scratching the surface here today. Don't be surprised if at one point I dedicate an entire Swhalloween to this guy, because, oh my god. Oh man, Memorial Hospital has had a lot of budget cuts recently. That sign definitely shows. No, but seriously, every sign in this movie is like this. Like what, was graphic design made illegal? Did you take every artist out back and have them shot? It looks like all the signs in this town are actually subliminal messages from They Live. I mean, I get it. Locations and props aren't cheap, but if you wanted to pass this as, I don't know, what is it? A middle school, maybe? If you wanted to make me believe that this was actually a hospital, all you needed was an ambulance dotted around here or there. You know, putting up a crudely done sign and what's that? Just one guy? One guy in a lab coat. Oh yeah, no, this is a hospital. This is what this is. This is the most literal visual representation of when a script says, exterior shot, Memorial Hospital Day. Also, I'm pretty sure that guy here just sort of wandered into the shot and was trying to leave once he saw cameras everywhere. So our story begins with our hero, Tom Baines, played by Sam Hennings, who, as far as I'm concerned, the only role I remember him in is the one guy from The Next Generation who was marooned on the planet of the hot ladies. He's being held down in a hospital bed after experiencing some sort of injury during a tragic event. Given the title, I'm gonna assume it was probably the Seed People. And given my knowledge of predictable movies, the FBI agent is going to turn out to be an infected seed person. The FBI agent sits down and asks Tom to tell him his story. Tom is a geologist who visits his hometown after hearing there was a meteor strike nearby, and he wants to investigate. He rents a room from his old girlfriend, who just so happens to have converted his parents' old house into a bed and breakfast. There's also this little girl named Kim, who for some reason is the only one who realizes that the Seed People have taken over. She's supposed to be like 13, but the actress playing her is definitely 21 years old. Like, I could see her passing her off at maybe 16 or 17, but 13? Come on. I'm not stupid. So later that night, Frank, who is Kim's father, goes to irrigate the apple orchard. That pipe moved. Okay, that clearly moved. It was a subtle thing, but I love the way the actor like tried to play it off like nothing happened. But that pipe is not attached to shit, is it? We ain't got but like $5 to spend here today, so let's just keep moving on, you know. Frank hears some strange noises coming from the orchard and goes to investigate when he comes upon an equally strange plant. Ow! Ow, come on! Oh, this is... Ow! Come on! Do I have to censor this? Do I really have to put black bars over this or something? Come on. With the YouTube's new guidelines already set, I mean, and all, I'm not really sure I want to even put this scene up here. I'm just gonna have to start uploading my reviews to Pornhub. At least they'll be fair. So I gotta say, the creature effects are at the very least interesting. I won't say they're great, because they're really not, but they do have a certain charm to them. It's that cheesy 90s horror movie. Obviously, in a world that would soon become clustered with CG creations, no more than a year after this movie's release, remember Jurassic Park literally comes out the next year, this movie's dedication to practical effects are simple and endearing. It's all the more too bad then when they do end up reverting to the newest trends and they use gaudy CG to create transformation between human and creature. I mean, yeah, it looks bad.
Keep an eye on my liquor store.
You bet.
Yeah. Keep an eye on your liquor store. Keep an eye on your closet. Those clothes are terrible. Oh my god, it looks like a giant ball of shit. Jesus Christ. Oh, I take it aback about the effects. Some of them are okay, and then some of them are, well, they're that.
You know, I went up to Indian Canyon today. Reminded me of when we used to go back there.
Reminds me of how we used to fuck. God, this movie is all over the place. And it's just really shittily put together, too. For no discernible reason whatsoever, the editor just gives up in this shot. He just fades to black like a goddamn TV show. And then it's nighttime again? Like, wait, was that all supposed to have happened in the same night? Or did Frank just leave the irrigation system on all fucking night and just now someone finally noticed? I mean, seriously, look at this mess. It's like the scenes are out of order or something. This can't be the next night. There's no way that no one would have gone down to the orchard to see that the water was still running. And it's not like that this is all happening all night because the scene previous to it was clearly daylight outside. This movie is just a mess.
What in the ding-dong heck-a-madoodle hell is that?
What?
What in the ding-dong heck-a-madoodle hell is that?
No. No.
What in the ding-dong heck-a-madoodle hell is that?
Was that in the script?
What in the ding-dong heck-a-madoodle hell is that?
What in the ding-dong heck-a-madoodle hell is that? You can't make this shit up. You can't. Like, I want that on a t-shirt. Like, put that on I would wear that. I want to bring that phrase back. So basically, Bob over here gets blasted with corn puffs. And yes, in case you were wondering, those are very specifically corn puffs. It says so in the documentary.
Go back, David. Spraying and action.
Well, our seeds are corn puffs shot out of an air gun.
Hi. I've been Cocoa Puffed to death, actually.
Why did you do that? What was the point? You'd think that, like, this scene meant something. Like, at one point, the script called for the old scientist to walk in on the meeting, and he gets drunk off the punch, and then somehow that got deleted later. But no, this goes nowhere. This is apparently a remnant of that old script, like, or is the writer just thought it was a legitimately funny scene? In fact, who brings alcohol to a geology meeting? I mean, I do. But that's because I have a problem. So now we meet the old scientist character as the seed people try to run him off the road. Well, wait. Oh, hey, look out there, little Johnny. Oh, no. Oh, he's dead. Wait, what? Wait, he didn't die? But I saw the bump. Like, I saw the close-up shot, and then it makes the bump noise, and then that's like the cinematic equivalent of, oh, oops, he hit the dog with his car. Like, everybody knows this shot. Like, you do it in every movie. Like, it's like, you know, you show the car on its way to the target, you cut away to something else, and just as you hear the bump, and then boom, the scene is clearly over without actually showing, you know, a little kid or something get hit by a car. But no. Except in this movie, the bump is so obviously there, yet somehow it's indicative that the car chasing the old man bumped into him and wasn't the death of the character, at least not yet. So the movie wants you to believe that this old man was innocent of the running over of this guy and that it was the seed people who made him do it, but as you can clearly see It was just the drunken old man who shouldn't be driving. He is so fucking wasted. So then the local farmer has a weird looking rock for Tom to look at. Why is this so oddly sexual though? Like what? Why? Look at that smile. That means something, and you're thinking it too. He's like, I'll show you how hard rocks. Get my rocks off. Oh my god, there's so much denim in this scene, it's unbearable. In the early 90s, this is what was sexy. So pretty soon, Tom is actually witness to the Seed people and decides that he believes Kim. Oh, thank God the goose is okay. I mean, I was worried. So now that he's starting to experiment with the rock and believes in the Seed people, the old man Doc shows up. He's wearing his poor man's Doc Brown equipment and also kind of impression. You think that maybe that's kind of the idea that they were going for, but I don't know. He tells Tom that the rock isn't a meteorite at all, but it's actually a giant space seed.
I'll tell you what it is. It is Testa.
Nope. Chuck Testa.
Testa.
Tom does a little more investigating and finds the Doc's lab, which is where he realizes Doc has either been experimenting on the same seeds as well, or he's just a really elaborate meth dealer. Tom is now 100% on board with the Seed People shit at this point, but it looks like Kim is out in the woods trying to prove the existence of Seed People and monsters. Honestly, I really wish the story had focused entirely on her and this subplot. It's probably the more interesting part of the movie, and really, the movie does nothing with it nor explain anything about her. How was it that Kim knew that the Seed People were out there? Why does Kim always have a camera? What does Kim know that we don't know? Why I want answers and this movie just won't tell me.
Here, honey. Daddy wants to talk to you.
You're not my daddy!
Garbage day!
So it looks like they drag the old TV and VCR into the living room because, I mean, come on. You can't tell me that TV looks like it always sits on the fireplace like that. Like, no. That ain't normal. Also, why did you have to fix the tape? Why did you have to have her get hit by the car and have the camera be damaged at all? In fact, it didn't even look like it got that badly damaged in the first place. That's the thing with this movie. It keeps coming up with convoluted ways to drag the time out for some reason. There are these half-baked ideas that could create conflict written into the story, but they never do anything. The spiking of the punch at the meeting in a smarter movie would have been a setup for something to happen, like Doc or Tom accidentally gets drunk when they're trying to warn the town about the Seed People, so no one believes them, or Frank left the irrigation system on all night, which could have alerted the people to the existence of the Seed People sooner, but instead they cut to it seemingly another night later, and Kim's tape. The outcome of the tape being broken is just the same as if they hadn't broken it. The characters still watch the footage, they still see the monsters as real, and they still believe Kim in the end. You could have had a built-up tension or something by having the monsters been cut out or blurry because of the tape's damage. You could have made it seem like her Aunt Heidi doesn't believe Kim because she thinks what Tom and Kim keep saying are monsters are actually just damage to the tape. But instead, we get nothing. And the movie just suffers. So the group goes to investigate the communications tower to see what happened there and why Officer Fraser never came back. They decide that Tom is going to have to go out and find Doc, and he's the only one who knows anything about the Seed People. He finds him in the cave, and at this point you realize that Doc is going to keep wearing that same goddamn UV suit the whole fucking movie. Doc explains the seeds a little more, and you realize what it was the original idea that Charles Band had.
Plants are the most cunning and savage of all life forms.
Yeah, but they're rooted, Doc. What can they do?
But seeds are travelers, creepers, hoppers, parachuters, hitchhikers. Seeds can chase us. We are being chased by seeds which were sown on the winds of the universe.
He was just sitting around, he was thinking to himself, how do I make seeds scary? I'm also starting to get this weird vibe that reminds me of that one episode of the Powerpuff Girls where the broccoli people invade Earth. Yeah. Is anyone else feeling that, or is it just me? I don't know. So Aunt Heidi's boyfriend, the officer Brad, Kim and Heidi and pretty much everyone else in the town gets infected as seed people.
What do you think I am? Some kind of lunatic or something? You think I'm hallucinating here? Not just because I got hit in the head?
Back the fuck up, buddy. Okay? I'll end you. I'll cut you. Do I look like a guy who's joking? I am not a guy who's joking. I will fucking end you. See, it's at that point I realized just how boring the movie really is visually. This is the first real close-up, and I'm talking super close-up, that we get out of the whole movie. It's the first time that the visuals actually represent what's supposed to be going on in the scene. The whole film is shot in this very bland way, almost like it was shot for television. Except it wasn't, is the funny thing. It was shot knowing that it'd be released directly to video stores for purchase or rental. And yet, with the power of independent distribution and low budgets being the freedom to make whatever the fuck you wanted, and not really needing to make a giant profit in order to still be successful, they still shot this film with such an amateurish production, never taking any risks. Just even the lighting, the static straight shots, the playing everything off in the masters and the shot reverse shot, it seriously feels like a TV show that was made more with efficiency in mind than creativity. Look, I understand budgets can be an issue, okay? But one of my all-time favorite horror movies is the first Evil Dead, and that was made with $5 and a bag of Planters peanuts, but it has atmosphere. It has tone. It takes risks, both in its story as well as its production, and Seed People is just boring. Tom and Doc realize that the ultraviolet light can cure people infected by the Seed People's mind control. I don't know why, it just works. The Seed People are trying to dig up a giant seed cone that would project their seeds all over and create a way to take over the people of Earth. For some reason, the seed cone is like, 6 feet under the ground, even though it's supposedly been there for, hundreds of years, but whatever. Heidi and Brad sneak in, and despite earlier establishing the fact that Seed People could read minds, they somehow don't detect them obviously not being Seed People anymore. Doc and Tom set up a trap that would get all of the infected Seed People together at once and douse them all in a heavy dose of UV radiation. And there are a lot of shots of just Tom and Doc setting shit up. I like a little bit of expository visuals too, montages and the like, but seriously. This scene here of Tom and Doc setting up the wiring just plays out in a wide shot that lasts 35 seconds without cutting away to anything. No close-ups of what the actors are holding, no different angles to break up the monotony, just a straight crane shot that moves from the top to the bottom, and that's fucking it. It's like what I was saying before. There's no visual interest to any of this. This is just actors performing an action, and I mean that most literal of ways. Like, I understood the scene within 5 seconds. Tom brought the wire from up the thing, and then he brought it down for Doc to connect to it. I didn't need half a minute of them doing something my brain understood 30 seconds ago. They try to set up the trap, but they aren't able to get it off in time, so Doc has to sacrifice himself in order to get the lights on. See, clearly they wanted there to be some tension to this scene, but instead it just falls flat on its face due to this terrible pacing. Remember that scene at the end of Back to the Future that's sort of like this one? Marty's racing towards the clock tower in the DeLorean, but the storm knocked out the wire that connects the tower to the cable he has to drive through, so Doc slides down the wire and he gets it linked up together in just the last second, sending Marty back. Yeah! There was tension in that scene, wasn't there? And the reason is because they had stakes. Okay? If Doc didn't get the connection made at just the last second like he did, then Marty would not have gone back into the future. He would have missed the lightning bolt, and they would have been shit out of luck. Not only was the whole movie building up to this and riding on this moment, but the scene is constructed in such a way that the car racing towards the cable at such high speeds means that if just the slightest bit of timing was off, the whole thing would be bust. In Seed People, the goobers they were trying to dehypnotize with the UV lights, they just sort of wandered into the trap. And, they just they said, this is clearly not a trap, this little house-looking building here. No. And then they just kind of stood there for what must have been at least a minute, if not longer. Just sort of waiting for something to happen. No, Doc, no. Just take your time. You don't gotta sacrifice yourself for this. Dude, clearly the idiots that are the Seed People, they're just gonna wait. They don't give a fuck. They're just gonna wait. Good lord. What? No one-liner? Come on! This is a bad sci-fi action horror movie. You gotta spout a one-liner. See you later. I don't know, that's all I got. So Tom and Brad just sort of kill all the creatures, except for the one maid lady. She kind of gets in the truck and starts to drive off with the seed cone. Tom jumps into the truck and starts damaging the fuel line or something. I really can't tell. It's really dark in this scene. I don't know why, but he pulls out a Deus Ex flare that somehow he obtained at whatever point in the movie. I don't know. And he seemingly blows up the truck as it rolls over this cliff. Tom finishes telling his story to the FBI guy in the hospital, and then the movie just sort of ends. I was right. The FBI guy was a seed people. I guess they took over the world? I don't know, the last we saw the townsfolk, they had been cured of their seed peopleness. Sure, one of them sort of kind of could speculatively have survived, but, I thought the whole point was that the other two creatures, they were dead. They killed them. Oh, who did? How? What? You know... This feels like a whole lot of buildup for not a whole lot of payoff. Movies can have ambiguous or even downer endings. Like, I know. I'm just not so sure how content I am with a movie that literally has no conclusion. This movie had no purpose. Not one. The ending, as well as pretty much, the whole fucking movie, it feels like it was just tacked on in order to make something. We gotta do it, so let's just put it together with, bubble gum and tape. I don't know. But basically, it all boiled down to what? Despite anything you try to do, you'll ultimately fail? If aliens were to invade Earth, they'd ultimately win? What was the point of seed people? What was the ultimate reason it existed? Well, really, I don't think there's much of an answer to that. This movie is, by and large, a retread of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, whichever version you want to pick. It's all the fucking same. Like I mentioned, included on the DVD is the making of documentary, which is actually really something I always enjoy seeing. As someone who likes to think of themselves as somewhat of a filmmaker, watching the creativity behind it all really is kind of interesting to me. But sadly, there isn't much substance here other than some neat technical stuff and creature effects. I mean, you can clearly see that this is what would happen if you give a director on, YouTube some real budget and he's never made a movie before. This is probably what he'd make. I guess I can't help but call this film harmless, though. Clearly the people making it were at least having some semblance of fun. But alas, the DVD set I bought was only $1. So technically I only paid 33 cents for this video. Which is probably 33 more cents than I'd have deemed necessary. The production was amateur, the story was lame, and the whole thing was just pretty much subpar. But remember, there are still 2 full-length feature movies from Full Moon Entertainment just packed onto this DVD. Assuming I don't die in the meantime, I'll probably get to those too. Sort of like I did with the Twilight Saga.